Hi, I'm Barney, singer from Napalm Death, and you're watching The Age of Metal. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is John with The Age of Metal. I'm here with the one, the only, Barney Greenway of Napalm Death.
Hello.
So, this is your 15th record you've put out. How is it that you stay so consistent?
Who knows is the answer to that. I mean, we just do what we do, feel is the right thing to do at the time, and it just somehow kind of works out, you know. There's no sort of secret formula or nothing like that. It's just literally the ideas that we have at the time, and it seems to come together, and you know, you have moments where you think, is this stuff good enough, you know, or whatever, but it always seems to work out in the end for us, you know.
That's always the best. Well, I mean, you guys also do a lot of experimentation. For example, John Zorn joined you for this record. How'd you get him involved? You guys like God?
He had a past association with the band, you know. We did a split with him back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and so yeah, it was like just contacting a familiar person, and he said he'd do it, and I didn't expect otherwise because he does so much stuff, and he has a reputation for always lending his hand to people, and that's a really nice thing. I think in this day and age, it's very easy for musicians to be cynical and unhelpful and stuff, but no, he wasn't, you know. So.
Well, more on the record. What is it about? What is the concept behind Utilitarian?
Well, I mean, it's basically a comparison exercise in that, well, utilitarianism is a philosophical concept that one of the basic tenets of which is the meaning of absolute happiness by any means necessary. And the interesting thing about it as a theory, it's advocated by quite a wide spectrum of people, everything from human rights activists, animal rights activists, through to really aggressive capitalists, you know, because obviously the thing that makes people happy is different for each person. So I mean, that's the utilitarian thing, but it's not literally a dissection of that. It's to basically bring on board about ethics and stuff, talking about happiness, you know, and to basically examine ethics and living, and looking at the kind of scenarios where if you live considerately, ethically, where you consider your actions, then there comes points where you doubt that you're making a difference, and the whole point surely of having ethics is to try and make a change of some form, and so, you know, it's basically examining that self-doubt, but also concluding that you should always persevere, because like sort of ethics and boycotts and all those kind of things, it's kind of a form of resistance, like a low-level form of resistance, and you need to have resistance because there are things in society, the whole structure of society needs to be kept in check. Those who have the power within society, if they weren't kept in check, you know, there are problems enough now. There would be 10 times the problems if people didn't stand up and resist certain things, you know. So that's the crux of it, basically.
So what kind of drew you into this as sort of a lyrical function? I know that this
I like to use comparison and wordplay, and not use generic subjects or generic language, you know, because I think there's so many things you could do when you're a band like Napalm, sort of a free-thinking, kind of left-leaning band, and there's so much stuff you could do, but a lot of it's been presented in the same way as other bands have. So I just like to try and at least be creative with it, you know.
Excellent, and it's certainly a better thing, you know, to kind of share that if it's something that means the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, because, I mean, you know, you can there are many ways of saying things, but some ways have been done 1,000 times, and you know, it's sometimes you just feel like you'd like to present things in a slightly different way, not with a different meaning or purpose, but just creatively in a slightly different way.
Absolutely. So how is it taking these concepts on tour, you know, to present to an audience and B, to perform?
Well, I mean, it's just we basically play the songs, you know, speak a little bit about it, because you know, we are essentially a band above and beyond all that, so we have to present the music with the lyrics together. So it's hard to actually dissect the whole concept while we're on stage. So we have to hope that people take the album and look at it and start getting them to think for themselves. That's the whole object of the exercise, actually. Is, you know, you don't have to necessarily believe what I believe. I'm not trying to beat people with a stick, but I'm just suggesting what's out there. And I'm also saying, think for yourself. Question everything, basically, you know.
Absolutely. So back on the experimentation side, what inspired you to finally, I guess, sing on The Wolf I Feed, one of the songs on Utilitarian?
Oh yeah, well that's Mitch, those parts, it's not me
sorry.
singing. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter, I mean, it's still a band thing. Well, we've done singing before, you know, we've done sort of different register vocals on all Napalm albums, so it's nothing new. It was just actually that Mitch, originally I was intending to sing the whole thing, but Mitch was laying down like the backing tracks because it's his lyrics, and it just sounded good enough to go with, so we kept it, and I just filled in the gaps, you know.
Excellent. So how's this tour been?
Yeah, it's been alright, it's halfway through now. It seems to be going really good. The combination of the bands are different, but there's a certain ethos that crosses over. So yeah, it's been good, you know.
Have you been able to talk about any of these concepts, especially with all the political stuff going on, especially this past year?
I mean, we talk about it a lot because people ask me about it, you know. Yeah, of course. I mean, always talk about rafter things, you know.
So, what's next for you guys?
Well, after this tour finishes, we're going back to England. We're going to start again in mid-January, and we got some pretty interesting stuff, kind of provisionally, for next year. And yeah, which I can't really say specifically about right now because I don't want to jinx it, you know. Yeah, so, you know, be good.
All right, well, thank you for the interview.